Fuck, what can I even say about Dune? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm super excited about today's review, Dune by Frank Herbert. Now, some of you may have seen I reviewed Dune on my Instagram a few months ago, but you know what? With the trailer coming out, and now that I moved over to YouTube, I'm really excited to be coming back with some second thoughts on Dune and re-reviewing it for you guys here on the platform. Dune is the story of a young man named Paul Atreides. Him and his family are entrusted with the production of the most powerful asset in the universe, which can only be found on one planet, Arrakis. And due to the fact that they own the most powerful asset in the universe, there are other families and houses feuding for control over this planet in a very Game of Thrones type of way. We also have a group of people called the Fremen who suspect that Paul might be the legendary prophesized character, the Kwisatz Haderach. To sum it up really shortly, because it's about 90 other things as well, because it's a completely massive book that I absolutely adored. The back of Dune describes it as a stunning blend of adventure, mysticism, environmentalism, and politics, and they kind of hit the nail on the head. Now, getting into it, I'm just going to say I thoroughly enjoyed the book Dune. I think it's absolutely brilliant, but in saying that, I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. Dune is a very hefty book. It's very wordy at times, and it's very dry at times as well. The way Frank Herbert writes it is pretty unique, because we have these long passages of exposition that are written with such beauty and elegance and mysticism, but there are also parts that some people feel are very dry and matter of fact and just point A to point B with not a lot of flair, and it's very wordy and very hefty, and I can totally see why people think that. But me, I loved it. I think Frank Herbert absolutely nails the pacing of this book. He does exactly what he needs to do, for my taste at least. That blend of straight-to-the-point, matter-of-fact writing mixed with the more philosophical, explorative type of writing is so perfect, and I think so needed for this book because of the themes it deals with. Dune is almost intended to be a slab of ideas to be delved into and explored using the story of Paul Atreides and his growth as a character as a caveat to explore these ideas. And there are so many ideas that go into this book, and that's why I love it so much, because so many reviews I've seen, people get so much out of it, and they really take away so many different things, especially if you look on forums and discussions and other reviews. You'll see people say, this book is about rising to power, this book is about ecology, this book is about climate change and the importance of habitat destruction, or not the importance of habitat destruction, the importance of being aware of habitat destruction and colonization. Or perhaps this book could be about religious fanaticism and what that has to do to societies and its place in the modern world. But also this book could be about eugenics and the absolutely terrifying thoughts of breeding a superhuman being. There are so many aspects to Dune which are so well explored, and I think that's why I love that. There are some people who think it's too long and too hefty and too lengthy. I completely disagree. I love the length of this book and what it allows us to think about and explore as an audience through Frank Herbert's presentation of the themes, because he never goes just one way with the themes. It's never about one specific thing. There are different characters that serve as different kind of ushers into different themes. For example, Liet Kynes. Liet Kynes is sort of the character that he uses to delve into the ideas of colonization and the dangers of hastily colonizing new areas, and then also the conflict with locals and how that works, but also the topic of I cannot speak today. The topic of ecology and the delicate balances of habitats in restoration. And then with the Bene Gesserit in Paul and the Fremen, we see the delicate intricacies of religious ideologies clashing and the religious fanaticism element playing in, and the idea of fate and free will and prophecy. And then we look at the Atreides, the Empire, and the Harkonnens triangle clash for power of the universe. And this is a very Game of Thrones type element to the story, and it's very political feuding going on. And then there's also the more classical narrative of young protagonist coming of age, rising to who they're supposed to be, dealing with fate and free will, and kind of a hero's journey. But that is the most surface level theme by a mile, and there has been a lot of hubbub, let's say, on the internet and on the forums and whatnot in the Dune community, because it's being marketed as a hero's journey and a coming of age. And that's only what Dune is on the very, 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 very surface level. Dune is like a freaking planet of a story, and Paul's journey is just the grass layer of the earth. And then we have the cores and the different levels, and at the center of Dune, that's what the great debate about the themes of Dune are, and that's what's so magical about it. There is so many themes. But enough about themes, shmemes, political this, political that, prophecy here, prophecy there, and all this philosophical bullcrap. How is it as a book, is what I'm sure you want to know. It's great. The pacing, I've heard some people think, is a bit slow because for the first 400 pages out of the 900 that it is, not too much happens. We have Paul learning a lot of exposition about the planet Arrakis that his family's been entrusted with. And, that kind of has to be there for us to know about the lore of the universe. So then when it all starts playing into each other and clashing by around page 300 to 400, then we can start to go, okay, now I understand why all this exposition and plot is here. But I think Herbert does a great job with it, but some people are very turned off by how slow it is. And I think as well what is so great about this book is science fiction lovers and fantasy lovers can equally get a great amount of stuff out of it because there's so many fantastical elements. There's, witchcraft, prophecy, chosen one hero archetype, and there's a magic system, and there's so many great things like that, which people can appreciate. But then on the science fiction side, we have space travel and galactic technology and wormholes, folding space and time, and all that type stuff. And there's also a political thriller and drama to be had there. I just think there's something for everyone in Dune. The only complaint that I might have, that some people might have an issue with, is that, yeah, it's a little wordy at times, and there are these great philosophy dumps from Herbert, but I really like that about the book, and that's what I got the most out of the book. The book is at its peak for me when they're going full balls to the wall, excuse the expression, philosophical deep dive, because the themes of this book require such an intricate exploration from the author so the audience can have more tools to dissect the themes with in their head. Anywho, I'm sure this all sounds very pretentious, and this book is so massive that I really struggle to talk about it, and you're going to see a lot of jump cuts in here because when I start going on about one thing, I realize, well, that's not really the message I want to send about Dune because there's this and this and that to it, and I spent the first maybe 5 minutes of filming going, Dune is about, because how do you even explain what Dune is about? Because it's so rich and deep and thick of a book. Point is, I am very excited for more people to get their hands on Dune. I absolutely recommend reading it. Now, if you're just trying to get into reading again, because I know a lot of people who watch my audience, a lot of my Instagram followers, and a lot of people coming over from my Facebook and stuff like that, are not avid readers. This book is not a casual read by any means. It's like a freaking massive thing. It's so wordy. So if you're an avid reader and you kind of are used to reading these more, how do I say, heavy books, then absolutely go for it. But if you're just trying to read a nice story about or not nice, but if you're just trying to read a simple narrative about a coming of age character arc and it's set in a fantasy science fiction backdrop, this is a lot more than that, and you might be a little drained because it's not what you're expecting. It's not like a Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or even Harry Potter type character protagonist. It's so much going on. So I would just caution you, if you're looking for a traditional narrative of a story, this might be a lot. So yeah, all in all, I love Dune. I'm so excited for the movie. Denis Villeneuve is the best working director on the planet today. And I'm so excited that more people are going to come over from the movie and read the book and really get to learn so much more about these characters that I know they're going to come to love. Thanks for watching the video today, guys, and feel free to drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe, maybe even share it too. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.